Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. The 90s was full of goofy movies with, families and animals and stuff like that. Well, one big one was Beethoven. Bum 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 bum. You may wonder, Scotty, why are you holding it? Isn't it usually back there? It is, but I wanted to point out something about this movie. So it came out in 1992. All right, it stars Charles Grodin, Body Hunt. You see Christopher Castile from Step by Step there. She was the girl in Kindergarten Cop, which I already did. She was on The Nanny. So there's the stars. Dean Jones of, The Love Bug, Herbie Rides Again, and Million Dollar Duck, Cat, that darn cat. He was in a bunch of Disney movies. He's the main villain of this movie, and he's doing some weird voice for some reason. Part of the time. I just want to point out the collection of talent behind the camera. It was executive produced by Ivan Reitman of the Ghostbusters movies. Written by Edmond Dantes. No, not the Count of Monte Cristo. That's a nom de plume for one John Hughes that he used when he didn't want his name on stuff. Really? This? You don't want your name on this? Why not? This is not bad. It even says here, from Ivan Reitman, who brought you Ghostbusters, Twins, and Kindergarten Cop. He didn't direct this. It was actually Amy Holden Jones is the other writer who wrote Slumber Party Massacre, the original one, not the new piece of shit, and directed by Brian Levant, who did The Flintstones and Jingle All the Way. Yeah, look at all that talent behind this. And I point that out because this was a movie. So I mentioned before, I'm going to put this back, I'll talk about it in a minute. I mentioned before that the thing with my grandma's house is that we go over there and she worked in the Cashwise in the Gas and Go side where they had the videotapes you could rent, the rental area. So we would rent movies all the time. And when it wasn't this from there was also Blockbuster and Hollywood Video. We'd rent movies and we'd watch movies. Movies come out, we'd watch them. It was a thing. Most of the movies we watched with my grandma. We sometimes watched some with my mom, but she was working, me and my grandma. Beethoven, I remember watching it today. I pictured myself at her house watching it. It was one of those. So the story is that after it escapes from the dog store or pet store, wherever it's from, after almost being kidnapped by two guys, we'll get to it. The Newton family suddenly finds themselves with a new dog, a Saint Bernard, which they named Beethoven. The dad, played by Charles Grodin, does not like this, but he does it on behalf of his kids because that's what you do. And shenanigans abound in this movie that is actually pretty good. I'll say right now, that ruins my whole spiel about what I do at the end, but this is generally a good movie. I really like this. It's 90s as all hell with the music. By the way, I didn't read who did the score for this. I didn't read that. Let's see. Randy Edelman. Okay, Randy, my man. I just want to say to you, if you're still alive, I don't know if you are, we get it. How many times do we have to have in the background? Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. We get it. It's Beethoven. And then, he plays the classical music, like Beethoven stuff. It's Beethoven. We get it. So we start. These two bumbling. It's basically the two henchmen from 101 Dalmatian. You don't need their names are not Horace and the other one's name is no. They're played by Stanley Tucci and Oliver Platt. I'll tell you, I'm telling you right now, Stanley Tucci with hair is nightmare fuel. It'll haunt my nightmares. It's a cursed image. Stanley Tucci with hair. You should see him with no hair. Stanley Tucci with hair will haunt my nightmares. It's a nightmare image. They're working for mysterious bad guy who is obviously Dean Jones, who talks with his normal voice here when he says, "Bring me puppies." And then throughout the rest of the movie, he talks like this, so you don't know he's the bad guy, even though it's obviously him in the silhouette. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And when they're robbing this pet store, which we see a montage of them trying to buy, it's like the montage at the beginning of Scooby-Doo Mystery Begins, only people are more susceptible to the little boy Beethoven. He pees on one chick because she wants a guard dog, and she thinks he's not. Look, he's a Saint Bernard. He's tiny now, but he'll be huge. Those things are huge. And I wanted to what my mom said. Hell no. Those things they're huge. Saint Bernards are huge. So she could just waited and she'd have a guard dog for sure. But no. They show up. Stanley Tucci and Oliver Platt show up. They kidnap all the puppies. And excuse me. But one gets away thanks to another dog who helps him escape. And he finds his way to the Newton family residence, where he climbs in the little girl's bed. How the hell does he get in the house? I must have missed it. But he's all the way in the house, in the bed, and they seem to think the dad did it. And of course, Charles Grodin, the late Charles Grodin, the king of Skullface. And what I want to point out, a lot of people will point out, oh, you gotta watch him. If you ask for a performance, a Charles Grodin performance, they'd probably point this out. They mainly point out Midnight Run. But I will tell you to look up the one scene he is in So I Married an Axe Murderer. I'm a police officer, I'm commentating a vehicle. No. What do you mean, no? I'm a police officer. First of all, I know you don't have any jurisdiction here. And you don't have the right to steal my car. So no. And he's great in this. You really is 56 years old when filming this. He is almost 30 years older than Bonnie Hunt, who was younger than she was in Jumanji, which came out 3 years after this. Yes. I look older than him in this movie. Not now, he's rest in peace. But he was 56 years old. Now look at, yeah, you go, hair dye and plastic surgery. That man had no plastic surgery. Hair dye maybe, but no plastic surgery. Sorry. So what we get is just a bunch of shenanigans to the song Roll Over Beethoven, but not Chuck Berry. It's a cover, rock and roll cover, as we see Beethoven grow up. So I will tell you this, that at least 85 to 90% of this movie is goofy, slapstick, family, gaga stuff. Where we have the plot that someone wants to kidnap puppies, but that doesn't take precedence. The stuff with the family and everything takes precedence until the finale, when that finally comes back around. So it's all about dealing with this dog, and there's really some scenes that you don't really need. Like, there's a whole thing with the son getting bullied that never comes back around. Like, I don't remember Beethoven helping with giving the comeuppance. Does he? I don't remember. Maybe he does. I don't know. Maybe he does. Beethoven does show up and make the older daughter, whose name is Rice. Who the hell names their kid Rice? What about Bryce? I thought it was Bryce or something like Rice. Is that short for something? No, her name is Rice. I don't know. That's not a name. That's a food. Rice. What the hell? I don't know. And so Charles Grodin convinces Bonnie Hunt to go back to work. She doesn't want to. She wants to be a stay-at-home mom, but he needs her, I guess, because he sells air freshener things that hang them in your car. Those things, air fresheners. Yeah, he's selling those, and he's gonna make a big deal with David Duchovny and Patricia Heaton in the weirdest Everybody Loves Raymond X-Files crossover I ever seen, as a married couple who wants to purchase this. And, like, it's so passive aggressive the way they talk, where they're like, we'll make a lot of money. Once we do this, we'll be really rich. And it's like, oh, they're sort of villains. But, like, you're sitting here watching this and you're wondering, we're focusing on all this stuff. What about the guys who stole the puppies? Was it only so that Beethoven could escape? Because that's kind of, we do come back to that, because just so happens that the guy who Dean Jones is playing is a vet, and when they take Beethoven there, he sees how big Beethoven is, and he wants to kidnap Beethoven. Hey, we let him stay overnight, and I'll do the thing. He said, no, just all you let him stay. There's obviously something going on here, but And I'm thinking, does he know someone had escaped? Because there's no way he could know. It's not like other movies where it's a special dog. It's just a dog. It's not like Air Bud, where there's a trait with it, because it knows how to do stuff. But what's the dog? He wants the dog to test ammo. Like the whole plot for the bad guy in this is that he is doing experiments on these dogs. He's a vet doing experiments on these dogs, and he wants big ones like that to test out this ammo. This dude. Someone should test the ammo on him. I'm just saying. If you treat animals cruelly, you deserve to die. I just said. Why is it? But no, that doesn't happen. And so he's got to figure out another way to get that dog. There's also there's scenes that are just there to kind of spread out the runtime, really. There's a thing with the daughter that comes back around, the older daughter, Rice, comes back around where she has a crush on a boy and he won't look twice at her until the dog shows up. And there's a thing with, I want to call him Mark so bad, with the boy where he's got bully problems, but I don't think that ever comes back around unless Beethoven dealt with him and I missed it. By the way, there's a blink and you'll miss a cameo from Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I was like, I thought he was in this as one of Mark's friends, and I don't see him anywhere. Apparently he is the walk-on role that doesn't have any lines. Excuse me. But there's another scene wherein, and this, I'm not making this up, the kids are being watched by this weird nanny lady who is singing the Itchy Gitchy Gaia Mama song on the piano, not paying attention to the other kids. Well, the daughter, the little one, accidentally falls in the pool, which activates Beethoven's spidey sense from yards away to come and save her. And she's like, okay, you need to go home. Mom says you can't leave the yard. And then they start freaking out. And then this causes, she's like, oh, we don't need to worry about this. We don't need to tell anyone. And the oldest daughter's like, no, I'm telling my mom. And that's when she's like, I can't go to work. We can't have babysitters. Well, first of all, I'm just going to say this. One bad babysitter does not mean you need to get rid of all babysitters. There's others out there. But, yeah, this woman's pretty bad. And that's when we have the meeting with the X-Files crossover with Everybody Loves Raymond. They come up and they keep on pressing for him to sign the thing. And Bonnie Hunt, every time, I don't get why Charles Gordon doesn't figure it out. Every time that Bonnie Hunt tries to interject and say something, about it, they cause something else. They put a distraction. One time, he goes over to see the dog. the dog somehow gets everything run around, and then like his leash or whatever caught around everything, and then he throws the ball, he goes after it, and they all fly with. And the only problem I have about this scene is that how are they still sitting in the seats? Because like, oh, their legs are tied down, but no, he's attached to the back of the seats. And at one point, I'm thinking, okay, their legs are tied down, but then it stops. He takes off again, and their legs go up in the air, and I'm like, now they would fly out of those chairs, man. What the? It's a funny scene for kids, funny ha, but they would fly out of those chairs fast. And now he's mad because he ruined the deal, but you don't need the deal. And by the way, these kids are some of the nosiest. Every time that the parents are having a private conversation, they're hiding behind the door listening. Not these kids, I guess. Then the shit hits the fan when Mr. Vet shows up. And he hatches a scheme to get the dog. So he shows up saying he needs to do a checkup, a house call with Beethoven. And first mistake, they leave him alone. Never ever. Let's say he was going to do a routine checkup on your kids. Would you leave him alone with one of your children? I think not. No, they leave him alone with the dog, and so he puts fake blood on his arm, and he puts it on the snout, Beethoven's snout, and he smacks Beethoven, which gets him mad. Beethoven doesn't bite him, he jumps on top of him, and they come out to see that and think that Beethoven bit him, so he's got to put him down. And point out that Charles Gordon is told they won't do the procedure till the next day, and he, you said that he used to have a dog. This doesn't really make much sense. He said he used to have a dog, and his dad put the dog to sleep, and he never forgave his dad, or I'm like, and he's worried that the kids will be like that to him, and they are. I'm just like, but if you're so mad about that, why do you not like dogs now? Is that why? Not really a good reason, but I don't know. So he has a second thoughts about it, and goes back, and the guy's like, well, dog's destroyed. He's gone. And he's like, no, wait a minute. Your secretary said you weren't doing that until tomorrow. Well, I don't know what to tell you. And they get in an argument, and that's when he grabs his arm and realizes there's no bite marks. He wasn't bit. And he punches the guy, and they call the cops, and the cops, of course, do shit because they're movie cops, and if they got involved, the movie would be over. They don't do anything about it. They get a so what? What do you mean, so what? And then, inexplicably, the doctor leaves, doesn't see them standing right there, and takes off, and they follow him to this warehouse, where Charles Grodin goes in. He goes up to the top, and when he sees that Beethoven is being mistreated, he jumps through the skylight onto the two thugs. Okay. And then the little dog from earlier comes in and bites the vet on les boils. Then Beethoven causes the whole thing of needles to go right into him. And then they treat this like it's just he's been heavily drugged. No. It's like 20 needles. He'd be dead. All those drugs pumped through his system? No, he'd be dead. Sorry. No, they show him alive later. And then the two thugs get away right after Mark crashes through I call him Mark, his name is Ted. The boy drives the car through the building while the mom is trying to call the cops. I love the line of dialogue where the dad goes, you let Ted drive the car through the building? Let him. I didn't even know. I was calling the cops like you told me to. I love that. And then Ted 60 other dogs on the two thugs, and they jump over a fence and thinks they're free, with Oliver Platt doing a little happy dance until two Dobermans show up and attack them. And comically, when they show them on TV, they got like bandages and stuff over their bodies. It's funny. And then we get something I don't like because it's not in the next one. You're taking in all the dogs. I'm sorry, that's not legal. There's like 20 dogs there. That's not legal. There's no way you could keep that many in a house like that. I mean, I can't ever say how many pets we had, but it was pushing the limit back in the day. But I don't know. Yes. I didn't get that gag. That's all. Oh, and the boy, we get the wrap up of this plot line. The boy calls the daughter. His name is Mark. I checked the second one. He's not in it. And speaking of sequels, so I'm gonna go and give this a pretty good. But we're gonna talk about sequels. So I knew about Beethoven's second, third, fourth, and fifth. I knew about those. Growing up, we watched the second one. Did not watch any others. I wasn't really interested because Charles Grodin wasn't in them. They replaced him with, apparently, Judge Reinhold plays Charles Grodin's brother in 3 and 4. And then the fifth one is about, I think, the oldest daughter with Beethoven. And there's another character that's like another uncle on her mom's side. And then they rebooted it with Beethoven's Big Break and Jonathan Lieberman as the main actor in that one. Then there's a Christmas one. And then there's another one about the treasure map thing. Don't expect me to do all those. Okay? Because I don't... Did I already put them in my cart on eBay? Yes. But I'm still not 100% sure. Just because I put something in my cart doesn't mean it's going to stay there. So, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I really only want to do the second one because that's the one I grew up with. It's the one I know. But I'm a completionist. You know me. But this movie was decent. It was fine. It was good. Pretty good. So, what are your thoughts on Beethoven? Leave me in the comments below. Make sure to check. Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.